Thank you for waiting an extra week for my next video. I've been trying to keep a regular schedule lately, but I had some health complications and it's completely delayed everything by a week, so there'll be no gaming videos for a week as well. So to make up to subscribers, I asked what they'd like me to talk about this week for my next video after a while, and the majority suggested a top 10 list or something, like movies or books or something. So I thought, why not my top 10 favourite Disney movies? So this top 10 Disney movie list is just going to be the animated Disney movies, and that does include Disney Pixar. It is also a countdown top 10, so number 1 is like my ultimate favourite Disney movie. So let's get started! My top 10 favourite Disney animated movies of all time. Number 10. Tangled! So this movie came out at just the right time in my life. Basically, a very daring, watered, non-fancy version of what Rapunzel was going through was what I was going through, or I just come out of at the time. And so it really resonated with me. So like Rapunzel, because of my long-term health condition, I spent a lot of time indoors in my own room and stuff, and I would just decorate it like crazy. I'd cover the walls and stuff, just things that made me happy, and I would just try to keep myself entertained quietly. I could really relate to Rapunzel because she was really naive and had really bad self-esteem, mostly caused by a certain person in her life just making her feel really bad about herself. And she learns to leave these harmful people, this harmful relationship, become happier, go out there, meet new people, meet new friends, start a new life, live somewhere else. And yeah, that's basically everything happened to me within the year just as that movie came out. So that was just really yeah, this movie's really special to me because it makes me think of that time, this really positive change in my life. Flynn is also hilarious. I love how Rapunzel's hair is animated, it's beautiful. The horse is hilarious. The reason this is only 10 on my top 10 list is because I was actually kind of disappointed with how it came out, regardless of how much I do enjoy it still, because this movie was hyped up for ages online. There was this Rapunzel movie going to come out for ages, and there was lots of concept art being shown, and how Disney were saying they were trying to make it like a living painting but 3D. I thought, oh wow, 3D animation is going to get more stylistic now, like 2D animation's been for decades. But no, the technology just obviously isn't quite good yet. It's still not quite good enough. The backgrounds still look painted, which is good. I can tell what they were going for with the backgrounds, but it's such a shame. They could have just gone a bit further. So that's why it's a bit higher on my list. Also, the music did nothing for me. The music in Rapunzel, it's really generic in my opinion. I'm sorry. I guess I like When Will My Life Begin song, but that's mostly the lyrics are important to me as well because I related to them at the time. So yeah, Tangled number 10. Number 9. Pocahontas! I don't have the DVD for it. I kept missing it when it came out Disney Vault. I'd be like, oh, I can wait a while, I'll just buy it later, and I forget that often it goes off the shelves and the prices go way up online. I will get Pocahontas on DVD eventually. That was on Netflix, so that's okay. Pocahontas was my childhood inspiration Disney movie. I kind of half related to Pocahontas. I really wanted to be Pocahontas. She had this long dark flowing hair and I had really long dark hair. She just would stand around in the wind with all the leaves flowing through, and she'd jump off cliffs into waterfalls and oops, I just knocked over down. And she would just run through the forest, and I just loved her life. I loved where she lived. I wanted to be that woman. I really love Pocahontas and that fancy aspect to her, being very in touch with nature and animals, and she had animal friends she could communicate with. It was just wonderful. I also love that pug. I love him. I love that scene where he's in the bath having a little bubble bath, and then there's a pile of cherries. He's I'm just that pug is so precious. Save the pug. And yeah, so I got started talking about pug. The reason Pocahontas is number 9 on my list, despite it being so special to me when I was a kid, is when I was a kid, I didn't know it was based on a real story or historical, era. Whereas now, as an adult, I know that Pocahontas is based on some real people and situations and distorted completely, and it's quite controversial. And I'm just come on, Disney, if you're gonna do a historical movie, why do you make it into this, I don't know, I just think it's maybe slightly disrespectful, I guess, but I still really like it. I like the themes of respect nature, you're no better than anyone else. I think that's really important, but they also took real life people, and you know, it's okay to twist fantasy stories that were never real, like the Little Mermaid, but I don't know, it's just a bit strange because like pretty sure the invasion of Native Americans was a lot less simple and friendly than it was in Pocahontas, despite, you know, there still being a clash with the characters in it. But oh well. I'm also not a fan of John Smith. I never liked John Smith. I thought he was really cocky. I thought Pocahontas could have done so much better, but she obviously has a thing for blondes. So whatever, he kind of grew on me a little bit as I got older, but John Smith is probably one of my least favourite Disney princes, if you know what I mean. Number 8. Bambi! I'm sure some people knew I liked Bambi the character, because, well, I've got him on my top. I love Bambi. But I do actually really love the movie. I find it really inspiring, mostly the art style. And the story it covers, it's so simple, the storytelling, but it works so well, because the whole point is the story's been told mostly through animation, expression and characters, rather than just like a script that's supposed to be somewhat complex. It doesn't do that. And this is just pure raw Disney to me, Bambi. I think this is the golden time of old original Disney, and it really shows in like the characters and how they're drawn and animated. It's got that twee kind of retro animal look that I just really like from that era that you just don't get now. The animation so like raw and expressive, like the scenes with like the deer stampeding through and Bambi's kind of scared, the fires and stuff. It's just absolutely a beautiful film, and I'm not going to tiptoe around it. The scene where Bambi's mom gets shot, I find it really hard to watch. Sometimes I skip it. I'm sure a lot of you do when you watch Bambi. But that's the thing, it's such a powerful scene. I'm glad they kept it in, despite, you know, parents being concerned about their kids seeing the movie, because, you know, that is the power of animation and storytelling. It is incredibly powerful, and still people still quote it there as one of the saddest moments in, like, you know, storytelling, and it's just so well done. And I just love that how Bambi kind of goes through the seasons. You get to see all its seasons, so it's like life and death as well. So along with Bambi being born and his mother dying, it goes from spring to winter, and then it goes back again, and you learn about the dangers of man and how humans are the scariest animal on the planet, in my opinion. I agree with this movie and the concept of the story. Like, humans are crazy. Humans have killed and murdered more things in the world than any other animal. Like, second to us, mosquitoes that pass diseases apparently, but humans are the absolute worst. Deforestation, everything, man, killing, murdering, shooting animals for fun as well. Like, we are the worst, and I love how this film addresses that concept, and it makes you think about things. Bambi, fantastic movie. I definitely recommend. You know, it's not one people would just consider sitting and watching a lot of the time compared to other Disney movies. Do take time to just sit and watch it, and you can skip the part with the mom if you really want to. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised just how wonderful the art style is in this one in particular. So yeah, Bambi number 8. Number 7. Up. Up is my favourite Disney Pixar movie. Surprises some people say the plot goes a bit strange towards the end. I honestly think the entire movie is a fantastic adventure story, and I find it really inspiring, and it's an important message. It's a unique concept that's not often covered in movies, often movies that are considered kid-friendly, covering the story of an old man. For example, Disney's usually cover the story of a kid or a teenage girl or something, you know. Old man Mr. Ferguson, such a fantastic character. The story covers an old man who has been through loss. The opening scene, I can count on my fingers how few times I cry in the cinema. Like, I really tried to suck in my tears in the cinema. I don't want to see people see me crying, man. I know I'm terrible for that, but with Up, I remember specifically one moment in my life I just cried like crazy in the cinema. Everyone was as well. None of us knew this was going to happen in the movie when we saw it for the first time. Like, it was just so sad, and people still say it's one of the saddest moments in film storytelling in general, similar to Bambi's mum being shot. But my god, it's so sad. But what's beautiful about it is it's the start of the story, and that life continues, and even though he's old and he's disabled, he's got his little cane and stuff he's made out down his balls, he finds a new life. he finds his strength through other means despite his hindrances. He goes on, starts a new adventure, new life, and you know, he never gives up. He doesn't give up just because he's been through grief, and at the same time, you know, it doesn't like brush off the death or his sadness. You can still tell he's sad about death, but he holds on to sadness and he finds happiness at the same time, which I think is really important and a healthy way to deal with grief. But yeah, and also this movie is hilarious. That bird, Kevin, cracks me up so much, and those dogs with the collars. My favourite character, Doug the dog. Doug. I love Doug so much. He's like one of my favourite, if not my favourite Disney animal after Bambi. Oh my goodness, Doug is just so adorable. And they got the cuteness and endearingness of what makes a dog so lovable just right, because it's like nose. Whenever you see a dog, it's always nose first because they're looking up at you all the time. So he's got this giant nose, and it's just so perfectly encapsulates why you're so happy to see a dog, and that's Doug encapsulated in this movie. I love him. So yeah, Up. Fantastic movie, and my number 7. Number 6. Beauty and the Beast. I would say one reason why I love this movie so much is because it's hilarious. I just love Gaston. He's my favourite character. He's so funny. He's like, Gaston. I love Beast and Belle just constantly bickering with each other or trying to be polite and get along. All those scenes are absolutely hilarious and perfect. I love all the furniture, how they talk. It's just such a fantastic idea. I love Mrs. Potts and Chips, so cute. I even love the talking wardrobe, even though I would personally be a bit creeped out if my wardrobe could talk. The songs are great as well. I find them quite memorable. Not some of my favourites, but Gaston's song definitely. Belle never stood out to me as like one of my favourite princesses, but I do really like how she's never self-conscious about herself being weird. In fact, I don't think she even knows people consider her weird. I like how she just gets on with life. Don't know why it's weird that she reads books, like everyone reads books. I like how Yours just as curious as Belle watching the movie, and she goes to all the rooms you want to look in and stuff. And you know, she takes a jar off the rose because you want to see the rose. So she's really good at, like, you can project yourself onto Belle. Now the reason this is only number 6 on my list is because I never grew up with Beauty and the Beast. I only got to see it when I was like 19, I think, maybe later. I really was really late to watching Beauty and the Beast. Just by sheer coincidence, I never got the chance to watch it properly when I was little. So unfortunately, it doesn't have that childhood nostalgia or specialness to me. I've had a really good laugh watching it with friends, but I wish I'd grown up with it. It would have been extra special if I had. But yeah, Beauty and the Beast, number 6. Number 5. Halfway through now, my number 5 is Mulan! Mulan, I think, is one of Disney's absolute cream of the crop movies. Absolutely just fantastic storytelling, really strong leading character, but also, you know, relatable, just amazing animation, stylisticness. It's just so epic. The songs are so fantastic. The sidekicks are funny. The villain is quite a threat. It's just perfect. The only reason it's number 5 on my list is because it's so perfect. I've watched it far too many times. I've actually got sick of Mulan. My friends and I would find any excuse to watch it and sing the Be a Man song and everything, and we just so loved it. We're all such big fans that it's lost its specialness to me because I've watched it so much. So since that's happened, I've made it a real, like, stubborn thing I do where I don't watch Disney movies very often. I keep them for special, and I just enjoy, like, GIFs and pictures online instead if I miss them, because I don't want to lose the specialness that Disney movies give me, because they really are massive works of art. But yeah, Mulan. I love Mulan as the character. She's such a fantastic lead. You know, she goes against the gender roles of her society. She pretends to be a man, which would be a threat to her life. She could be killed for being caught. And she goes out to save her father and all of China. She creates an avalanche and destroys an entire army single-handedly and takes on Attila the Hun and saves China. The ultimate powerful princess. And Mushu, I love Mushu, Eddie Murphy. He is hilarious. I don't care if he's a 90s sidekick character that wisecracks all the time, because we've seen that a bajillion times today, but he is still awesome. Love Mushu. So yeah, fortunately only number 5, but Mulan is still perfect in my eyes. Number 4. The Princess and the Frog! The music I absolutely love. all the music in Princess and the Frog, bar the credits song, which for some reason is like completely out of style. So yeah, but apart from that, I love all the songs. Princess Tiana, like, I can never relate to her because she's like hardworking and responsible, and I'm not either of those things, I don't think. I'm trying to be more hardworking, but even so, I really love her as a character. And her dress, the one where she's in like a flower leafy dress, is my favourite Disney princess dress ever. In fact, the entire scene where they're getting married and they kiss in a bubble and turn back into humans and they're in the forest and there's flowers and butterflies, it's one of my favourite Disney scenes ever. It's so pretty, it's hard to just like watch it on YouTube, that one scene. Prince Naveen is my favourite Disney prince. He is such an idiot. I love him, he is so funny. I love his style, I love like the clothes he wears and stuff. Lottie, amazing character, I love Lottie so much. She's so relatable, I really relate to Lottie. So while I don't relate to Tiana, I relate to Lottie. She's such a goof, it's so funny. Dr. Facilier as well, one of my favourite Disney villains. Not my top favourite, but definitely close favourite. I love pitiful villains. He's quite similar to Scar in that respect. I love his voodoo creepiness. His song is so good, his villain song, best Disney villain song. Oh, the alligator is hilarious as well. I love the alligator. He is hilarious. The reason The Princess and the Frog is just shy from my top 3 is because I find the plot is kind of convoluted a little bit, like they overcomplicated it. Also, I really wish Naveen and Tiana were more like in their human form in the movie. They were such fantastic characters and they were reduced to like very, I must admit, generic looking frog figures, and it's actually really disappointing. And you know, even so, Tiana apparently has the most outfit changes out of any Disney movie so far yet. So woo, Tiana, rock the wardrobe. It's just really disappointing, especially because like first like Disney princess and they just like barely show her in her actual human form. So yeah, Princess and the Frog, fantastic. One of the ones I get the most delight watching. But number 4. Number 3. Lilo and Stitch! Oh, this movie is so good. It's a weird, but for a movie about aliens, it's actually a really down-to-earth story. It's such like, you can really relate to these characters and the struggles they're going through. And yeah, it's like a movie about aliens, so it's crazy. I love the unique theme, I love the Hawaii setting. I've always wanted to go to Hawaii. Someday I will. I'll probably be too hot and then complain. Oh well. Stitch is such a fantastic character. I can tell like very important, well-paid executives and designers were at a table together for months crafting this perfectly cute, adorable, lovable character known as Stitch. You can tell he has been very well designed, cleverly, and I can totally understand why so many of my friends get plushies of Stitch and stuff because he is so popular, he's so good. Lilo, fantastic kid. I think she's one of the most realistically portrayed kids, especially a kid that's been through as much as Lilo has in her life. Like, she's troubled, she's kind of messed up, but she's still really cute and means well. Nanny is my favourite character. I think she's just an absolutely fantastic, strong female side character. I guess she's kind of a lead. David, another really good character. He's so supportive. In fact, everyone is really supportive in this movie. This movie is just like all about like supporting each other, because like Lilo is there for Stitch even though he's always making a mess and causing trouble. She tries to understand him and comfort him. Stitch tries to understand the human world and not step on people's toes. Nanny has to support Lilo. She's trying so hard and working like jobs as much as he can. David supports them all, like he just wants to be there to help Nanny. Even Cobra Bubbles, who has to be harsh because of his job. He doesn't want to have to be harsh to Lilo and Nanny, but he has to be, but you can tell he really wants to help them. Also, Cobra Bubbles, hilarious name. This movie is actually really funny. That's another reason why I like it, it's really funny. I also think it's actually one of Disney's sadder movies. Like, there's a lot of dramatic sad scenes in most Disney movies, but the sadness in this movie, like the situation Nanny and Lilo are in, is like so real, and you know real people in life are having to go through this, like children and teenagers, and that's because again the down-to-earthness, the realness of the situation. I think it's really sad. I get more upset watching this than some of the other Disney movies actually, but that's why it's so good. It's an emotional movie and I love how it's resolved at the end of the story. So yeah, Lilo and Stitch, one of Disney's best. number 3. Number 2. The Hunchback of Notre Dame. Disney's like you can like hear the glitter coming off this. It's such a good, perfect movie. It's held in such high regard by a lot of Disney and animation fans. Hunchback of Notre Dame. Unfortunately, Disney, I agree when critics say this, Disney will never be this controversial again, and that's why it's still a fantastic movie. It's so fantastic. They just went places that you would normally go in a movie in a movie industry that tends to sugarcoat things like Disney, and they really don't in this movie, which is fantastic. The villain Frollo he is the scariest, best villain in my opinion, because he thinks everything he's doing is right in God's eyes. He can do no wrong in his eyes. So all these horrible, evil things he's doing, he justifies it because, you know, God's telling him to do that, and, you know, he's doing everything in fear of God as well. Like he doesn't want to be seen bad by God, and so he's actually doing these horrible things so he can remain pure in his weird, twisted concept. So yeah, he is the scariest villain in my opinion. That's why he's so good. Esmeralda is one of my absolute favourite Disney characters ever. Oh, she's such a heroine to me. Was a role model when I was little. She stands up for justice and everything. She's so strong, but she's also so caring and gentle and motherly. You know, he can be a strong, you know, female character, still have her femininity and be caring, gentle, motherly and stuff. Like, she really looked after Quasimodo and stuff. And yeah, I just absolutely love her, and I love her dance. She does like her dances and her pet goat. She's just got such a great style. She's fantastic. Phoebus reminds me of my partner, mainly how he talks and acts. He's really funny, so I kind of warmed up to Phoebus a lot. The music is very loud and epic. The story is so intense and dramatic, and it's great. It just keeps you gripped the whole way through. And the Hellfire song is amazing. Yeah, just epic story the whole way through. Hunchback of Notre Dame, number 2. And my number 1 Disney animated movie of all time is The Little Mermaid. Okay, so right off the bat, this is one of those traditional, colourful, late 80s, early 90s, vibrant, girly Disney movies. It's such a classic thing Disney's known for. This is what hooked me onto Disney, I swear. I feel so lucky that I grew up with The Little Mermaid, because I still think it's one of Disney's finest animated works. I mean, story-wise, not the best. I enjoy the story, but I acknowledge that stories like Mulan and Hunchback of Notre Dame are better stories. But in terms of like the animation and the style, it kickstarted the Disney Renaissance. It was such an important movie for Disney. It's so important, and I love it. My absolute favourite thing about The Little Mermaid is the animation. When they're underwater, the hair flowing, the fish, the mermaid tails moving around. You know, what they would have had to do to get that feeling. It's like they couldn't just like go underwater and, you know, sketch people swimming with mermaid hair and tails. They had to get that flow correctly and creatively themselves, and they did such an amazing job. I think it was the first movie to use digital animation or some 3D effects, and you can barely tell, but it was like in the bubbles and waves. And I think it took some of the team like 2 years just to do the wave and bubble effects. There's so much love and effort that went into this movie. Ariel, she's such a great like character. I just love mermaid. I love mermaids. I wanted to be Ariel when I was a kid. She's such a great rebellious teenager, and I still never think that she made the decision to become a human just because she wanted to be with a prince and a man. I agree that the original Little Mermaid story is horrible and definitely sexist, and it's very depressing, so I am glad Disney has sugarcoated The Little Mermaid. I'm glad they've given Ariel some more incentive. Ariel was always fascinated with the human world before she met Eric. The difference is she talked to her dad about the prince she saw, and they had a row, and like a rebellious teenager, she was like, screw it, I'm just gonna like bugger off and become human now. My dad can't tell me what to do. I feel like that was what Ariel's drive was. That she was always hoping to one day go onto land, but that was her final like push. Also, it's really funny that how Ariel is obsessed with the human world. I'm always obsessed with the mermaid world they're in. It's so beautiful. Her cave of wonders that she collects, I love it, and I relate because I tend to hoard and collect all these little things I like. That song is so lovely as well when she's singing about the wanting to go up on onto the land, and like the animation's just stunning. Under the Sea is also a really catchy song. Sebastian, hilarious sidekick, absolutely 100% love every moment Sebastian's in it, he's hilarious. King Tri himself cracks me up so much. I call him Muscular Santa. I can't look at him in any shot of King Triton without like bursting out laughing. He looks ridiculous. Ursula, amazing villain, love her so much, and she has such a cool cave that she lives in. I love her like house. I love when she like puts Ariel's voice in a shell and she wears the shell, you know, tricks Eric and stuff. I like her evil woman form she does when she's not being an octopus. I love all the scenes. I even love Ariel's like pink dress. I used to not like it as a kid because I was like, red hair, pink dress clashes. Now I'm like, I like it. I really like it. It's cute and so 80s in my opinion too, with that look she's got. And the movie was released in 1989. I love the scene where she's like twiddling her fork in hair, and she's so cute, like her and the seagull's fascination with the human world, how they just can't quite get it right. A Snorflag, you know, they're trying but they just don't quite understand it properly. It's adorable. If I had to criticize something about my favourite Disney movie, it would be, I guess, I wish it had been Ariel that had taken down Ursula at the end of the story instead of Eric. Like, I understand Eric did that to defeat Ursula because, you know, he was so angry about being tricked. He had to take her down after he had been foiled by her and fooled. And, you know, but I think it would have been so much stronger if Ariel was the one to take down Ursula at the end when she was in her big final form, just because Ariel's been screwed over by Ursula. Like, she signed a contract with Ursula, and then the whole story Ursula was trying to breach the contract. Yeah, so I understand why it was Ariel that did that, but I think it would just be a little bit more like, yeah, if Ariel had done it. But yeah, The Little Mermaid, my favourite Disney movie of all time. Sequels, interesting. So yeah, that was my top 10 favourite Disney animated movies ever. What about yours? I would like to see people list their own top 10 in the comments. Anyway, until next time, thank you very much for watching. Bye bye for now.